We were just catching up. All week long, we're going to be focusing on how to harness the power of your brain. And here to kick things off with tips on how to use your brain's strongest tool to face challenges is author of the new book, The Healing Power of Resilience, Dr. Tara Narula. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Hi. Okay, where to begin?
So you say medicine needs to also focus on building resilience. Why do you say that?
Yeah, Mark, so I'm a cardiologist, and every time I walk in the room and I tell someone, you know, you have heart disease or you've had a heart attack or stroke, my patients look at me with this fear, and
they're crushed.
They're paralyzed with this new diagnosis. And what we don't do in medicine is recognize that a medical diagnosis is a form of trauma. And really, it is something that has to be worked through. And what we should be doing is handing our patients a prescription for resilience in the same way that we hand them a prescription for medication or treatments to say, look, you have this new diagnosis, but we're going to teach you how to be resilient so you can thrive after this diagnosis and still have quality of life and meaning in your life and joy. That's so important.
Sometimes people, though, are very resistant to receiving that message. How do you handle that when people just outright don't want to focus on the possible good outcomes of what comes next?
Yeah, I think we try to talk about the mind-body connection and how interconnected these two organs are and how we have to pay attention to what happens in the brain and how it affects the heart. And it really is important to say, take it day by day. A lot of my patients get so worried and afraid, and I say to them, let's just focus on the present moment and what foot we're going to put in front of the next and go from there.
So what's the first, you're talking about that. What's the first step to building resilience?
So in the book, we talk about 8 different steps. And the first one, Mark, is acceptance. And that was really for a reason. You know, when I was in medical school, I lost vision in part of my right eye. Nobody knew why. I went to see several doctors. And it really was the lowest point I've ever had in my life, that fear of being a patient and wondering, am I going to go blind? What's happening to me? And my mother sent me in the mail the Serenity Prayer on a little card. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And that really saved me because it made me realize I can't move forward if I can't just accept this change in my life. And that really is the first step for so many people, is just the acceptance.
In everything.
In everything.
In everything,
That's
not
right.
just medical stuff. And so what's the next step?
Well, there are different tools that we talk about. We talk about flexible thinking, we talk about social support, but another big one is facing fear. So as I mentioned, that's not just for patients, but if you've had a divorce or a bad relationship or some financial loss, you could be paralyzed by that fear. And I am a huge advocate for therapy. I think everyone should be in therapy. And really using tools like cognitive behavioral therapy, for example, can help you move through that fear and process it in a way that your emotions are not in control of you. You are in control of your feelings and emotions.
We have to take a commercial break, but when we come back, Dr. Narula is going to share some more tips on how to build resilience responses when overcoming challenges. Hey, we're back with Dr. Tara Narula, and she's giving us tips on how to build a resilience response. So what's the next step?
Well, there are multiple other steps, but another big one is really love, Kelly. And a lot of psychologists don't talk about love when it comes to resilience, but it's something that I know is so important, both self-love and also that intimate love that you have with a spouse, a partner, your children, siblings. You know, you release hormones like oxytocin, bonding hormones. You turn down your adrenaline and that stress response when you have that love and decrease inflammation. And I've seen it in my patients. You know, they'll come in together, husband and wife, and one of them is really supporting and lifting the other one up. So it really is that support that can carry you through challenge that you get with that kind of intimate relationship.
Yeah, very important. What's their final tip?
I would say purpose. That is really purposefully put as the last tool in the book. And I like to say your meaning in life is like your lighthouse. It is what calls you forward when things are so dark. And for many people, when they've gone through something difficult, a challenge, they find the meaning or purpose that they always had, but they never pursued because they were afraid or they didn't think they should. And for other people, whatever they've been through becomes their purpose. They become an advocate or, you know, a supporter of the cause. For example, someone who's had heart disease may become a volunteer for others to raise awareness. So purpose is really powerful in terms of
that's
helping us go forward.
Great advice, too, because I'm sure a lot of people, when they're faced with trauma, all purpose sort of shuts down.
Yes, I mean, really what this is about is changing a stress response. That's what happens when we're faced with a challenge into a resilient response. So we can live with the stress and allow ourselves to be damaged, or we can actually take action and reverse it and practice resilience and live a healthy, meaningful, beautiful life.
Yeah, and tell us about your book quickly, yeah.
Yeah, so the book is going to be published officially tomorrow. It's called...
Happy Pub Day.
Happy Pub Day.
Thank you. It's a labor of love. I like to call it my third child. I have 2 girls.
Oh, yeah.
But it is really a testament to the fact that you can find meaning and thrive in life despite what happens to you. And I actually thought about my 2 girls every step along the way in writing this book. I wanted this to be a blueprint for them and a guide for other people to know that, life can be beautiful. And you may not bounce back. I don't like that definition of resilience, but actually you bounce forward into something that's new.
For these tips
great.
and
Great
more,
way to
make sure to
think
pick up a copy of Dr. Narula's new book, The Healing Power of Resilience. It's out tomorrow. Next, we're going to open up that inbox. Stick around.